were drafted by the Steelers. The Steelers right now, Mike Tomlin, I think he's a top 5 coach. I love Mike Tomlin, everything he does. Continues to win regardless of what they got going on the roster. Since Ben Roethlisberger, everyone's questions the QB, blah, blah, blah. Right now, I guess Aaron Rodgers is the name everyone wants to see there, or it's in the handshake agreement stage that everyone thinks. Do you agree? Do you think Aaron Rodgers will be the QB in Pittsburgh, or is this something that's a foregone conclusion? He's done, and this is time to move on.
Man, this whole topic, I mean, you're touching my hurt holes here, JB. And we talk about my pride for the Colorado Buffaloes and weird things happening over there. Now we're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the most consistent organizations ever in all of sports. And yet they find themselves in these last couple of years in this position of not having a trustworthy guy under center. Now, I think if they could have had a chance to, or if they had the thought to develop Justin Fields, I think they'd be in a lot better position than where they are right now with Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, Will Howard, and maybe Aaron Rodgers. This team has prided themselves on being ahead of things, whether it's the salary cap, whether it's, roster size and roster makeup and all those kind of things. So it's a weird spot for me to see the Pittsburgh Steelers in. I love Mike Tomlin. To your point, never had a losing season. But at some point, you've got to go past getting into the first round of the playoffs and actually winning a playoff game. And having the right guy under center really matters there. And as the roster is currently constructed, doesn't appear to be that guy. And for Aaron Rodgers, man, part of being a team leader is having the respect of your teammates. And the Aaron Rodgers over the last couple of years has been a difficult guy to respect. Whether we're talking about this waffling with the Pittsburgh Steelers, are you in or are you out, man? Do you want to be a part of one of the greatest organizations in the NFL, to be a part of NFL royalty, to wear a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform, or do you not? Are you so busy wanting to go on, podcasts and spout conspiracy theories, or do you want to play football? Are you completely past these injuries, which limited you last year and eliminated you from the game for the entire season 2 years ago? Well, you haven't shown up at the facility to do that, and throwing the football for one day at UCLA's campus in the offseason with DK Metcalf, that ain't enough. That hasn't shown me enough. Football is a show me sport. Either you got it or you don't, particularly as an old player, because you may be able to ramp it up for a game or two, but we need you for the full 17 plus the playoffs, bro. And it takes heart, passion, dedication to show that to me. And right now, you show me none of those things. Therefore, I feel completely justified to say I got doubts about your football character and makeup for this year, but I've also got doubts about your ability to do it from a physical standpoint.
Man, that's a beautiful take. Let me ask you this. I mean, we all talk about how great Mike Tomlin is, and I'm a huge fan of him. If I was playing ball right now, I would love to play for him. But understand that he is with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is one of the most legendary franchises of all time. The standard and the bar is extremely high. He gets a lot of credit for not having a losing season. But at some point, though, I know fans in Pittsburgh want more than that. They want to go to an AFC Championship game. They want to get back to the Super Bowl, etc. Do you feel like is there a little bit of a hot seat this year at all? Or I guess how much pressure is on Tomlin in your eyes?
Well, I think the hot seat is finally catching up nationally. Every year or two, I've got to travel to Pittsburgh for something. Mm-hmm. And, obviously I get recognized at the airport. I get recognized when I'm around town. And so people always want to talk to me about the Steelers. And the Steeler fans' take on Mike Tomlin, the conversation that's just beginning to happen nationally, the question that you just brought up, they've been having that for the last 3 years. They've been having that conversation for a while now. And so they are a bit fed up with, you put together a winning season. We limp into the playoffs and we lose in the first round. They've been fed up with that for a while because, to your point, that fan base has incredibly high expectations.
Right.
When you walk into that building, what do you walk past? You walk past Lombardi trophies, not one. You walk past multiple Lombardi trophies. And so you are never too far away to be reminded of what the Pittsburgh Steelers were, who they have been, what the expectations are. Anywhere you go in that town, you drive past a bar, a local watering hole. Well, in the window, they got a poster of Lombardi trophies. You know what I'm saying? Kids in Pittsburgh grow up wearing Steeler diapers and Steeler bibs, and they sleep on Steeler sheets. And they are told the terrible towel. They are told by their grandfather or grandmother or mother or father or uncle about the greatness of the Steelers' past. And so the tradition is handed down in a way that I think is unique amongst any other team. I think you are a Dallas Cowboy fan, no doubt about that. But the fabric of the city and the fabric of the football team are not interwoven in the same way it is for the Pittsburgh Steelers and their fan base. And so their frustration with Coach Tomlin, despite his record of no losing seasons, is a bit their frustration is a bit justified considering who they want to be as a football team and what the standards are there.
No doubt. Let me ask you something real quick. If this doesn't happen, though, is this who they got? Is this Mason Rudolph's team, or are they going to go after a veteran like Kirk Cousins or somebody like that in your estimation?
I got a lot of respect for Omar Khan. You know, I was a part of the Steeler organization in 2006 when Omar he was the cap guy, and he was beginning to work his way into the personnel side. So Omar's come a long way. He learned from one of the best in Kevin Colbert. So I've got some trust there that he'll make some moves, and some of the moves will, this year make sense. Moving on from a George Pickens who was talented on the field, but certainly created all kind of off the field, locker room, and even on the field issues, and bring a guy like DK Metcalf to replace him. There's certainly some strong moves that Omar has made. But I think another move is going to have to be made. And if you're going to put your trust in Aaron Rodgers, I believe you're going to be burned. So whether it's this long dance of whether he's going to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers or his ability at a 40-plus-year-old quarterback to be healthy, I don't think it's going to pan out. So if you're Omar, you got to start looking at the waiver wire and seeing what you can do, because Mason Rudolph clearly has not shown himself to be ready to be a starting NFL quarterback. But just last week, he was on stage at a Trump rally, and those are the kind of things that divide a locker room. Are you free in this country to be politically who you want to be? Yeah, you are. But as an NFL quarterback, do you want your things that you put your stamp on to be as all-encompassing as possible, to include every part of your locker room? I think you do. And what's more important for you, Mason Rudolph, to prove to your teammates who clearly are going to have doubts about who you are, about your ability to lead this football team? Was it really that important for you to show up at a political rally knowing what that could do to the locker room when you have yet to solidify yourself as the man in that locker room and as a leader in that locker room? Again, I know that goes against, this is America. We can do whatever we want. We can be who we want. As an NFL quarterback, I'm sorry, dog. You can't.
You're right. It is different. Like to your point, like Aaron doing it, does he get a pass because of his longevity and proof in the pudding, kind of what he's done in the league, winning a Super Bowl? Obviously, we can say he's underachieved and should have won maybe more, but at the same time, is he getting a pass going on Rogan and all these other things, talking politics because of his longevity versus Mason, in your opinion?
Yeah, totally. I think, Mason Rudolph, unfortunately, is most known for being hit in the head by Myles Garrett's helmet, and not his track record of success on the football field. Yeah. And it may sound harsh, but that's the truth. And so until you got some skins on the wall, as Aaron Rodgers does, then there's a certain way you need to conduct yourself until you get to that point. And so even with all of Aaron Rodgers' greatness, all that other stuff has now surpassed that greatness on the football field. So even Aaron Rodgers wore that pass out. Now, there's obviously been tons of players who have had off-the-field issues and have quirky personalities, but we allow that because of their greatness. At this point, Aaron Rodgers being on the clear decline, being banged up, being 40-plus years old, now at this point, the line is now on going the other way. Right. So you could have done, if you were doing that 10 years ago, Aaron Rodgers, when you were collecting league MVPs, then we got some more grace for it. But at this point, you've worn that grace pass out, my friend.